Welcome back. Do remember you can find all our top stories on channelstv.com and on youtube.com/channelsweb. You can also watch us on the go on your mobile device. All you need to do is log on to m.channelstv.com and download the Channels TV app for Android, iOS and Windows devices from their respective stores. Having the Channels TV and the Channels 24 apps will give you access to news and updates. You'll also have access to the Eyewitness feature, with which you can share pictures, videos, or news of happenings around you. Just install the app, then tap and swipe to reveal the menu. Don't forget, follow the instructions you see. The Minister of Health, Professor Isaac Adewale, is asking states across the country to key into the federal government's healthcare agenda towards the provision of qualitative and affordable service delivery to its citizens. Professor Adewale, who was speaking in Calabar, the state capital, at the inaugural Cross River State Health Summit, where the state's health policy was launched.
It's a health summit in Cross River State surrounding issues on the health system and to also officially unveil its health policies and plans to the public for implementation. All 10 policies to include the Cross River State Health Policy, the Cross River State Strategic Health Development Plan 2016 to 2020, Cross River State Human Resource for Health Policy, Cross River State Human Resource for Health Strategic Plan, and Cross River State Task Shifting and Sharing Policy. The Minister of Health commended Cross River State for keeping faith with the federal government's health agenda and urged other states to follow suit.
With a framework in place, states are to develop their state-specific plans, looking inwards into situations that need to be addressed with effective interventions within available resources. In translating our plans to action, let us bear in mind that we need to go outside the health sector to interact and enjoy close fellowship with those sectors that impact on health.
The Deputy Governor of Cross River State, who stood in for the State Governor, Ben Ayade, highlighted the achievements of the administration health-wise to include renovation and refurbishment of health centers across the state and the signing into law of the Cross River State Health Insurance Scheme.
These policies are planning system frameworks for the overall development of the health sector, and it is critical that all implementing agencies and personnel are properly updated on their provisions. The summit hopes to achieve this crucial element as we commence the implementation of the policies.
The Cross River State Health Insurance Scheme, Ayade, will be fully implemented within the last quarter of this year to ensure the availability of quality health service without straining the purse of the citizens, especially women, children, and the vulnerable population who are going to access this healthcare completely free.
The high point of the summit was the official launch of the state health policies and plans, as well as the handing over of school buses and equipment to schools of nursery and midwifery.
The Nigerian Erosion and Watershed Management Projects, in collaboration with the Kano State Ministry of Environment, are planting 300,000 winged trees and shelter belts seedlings to priority sites in Kiru, Karaye and Shanono local government areas of Kano State. The Commissioner for Environment, Ali Haruna Makoda, wants farmers to protect the seedlings handed out to them, while the project coordinator of Nigeria Erosion and Watershed Management, Musa Shatu, promises that the scheme will not be abandoned like other projects.
These 300,000 seedlings have since been handed over to my ministry, which is going to be under the control of the Department of Forestry and as well the Kano afforestation program. And after that, we also, proceeded to Shannon local government too, and we also saw, 6,000 seedlings, different varieties too, which also those ones who has already been handed over to the farmers. So what I'm saying now is to call or to appeal to attention of all the farmers that benefited from this seedling to ensure the total protection of the seedlings.
The sustainability package of NewMap is developed in such a way that all relevant stakeholders, this cut across the ministry, department and agencies, will be fully be on board, as well as relevant stakeholders on the ground, in such a way that they will first and foremost be informed that this project is theirs, it's not government. Once people have perception of ownership, that this project belongs to them, you understand. Even after the expiration of the funding period of the project, people will look forward to hold it, uphold it, and move it forward.
Well, from Kano State, we move to Kaduna State, where the Governor Nasir El-Rufai is calling for increased investment in girl-child education for sustainable socio-economic development of the country and the northern region in particular. Governor El-Rufai, who wants parents and other stakeholders to give priority to female education as their male counterparts. Malam El-Rufai was speaking when he received an 18-year-old female author, Ms. Nkechi Chidi Obolu, in his office in Kaduna.
Since we came into office, we found that more than half of our children were sitting on bare floors. We've been accelerating the production of furniture for our primary schools as well as secondary schools. So far, I think over 78,000 pieces of classroom furniture have been distributed across the state. But we need 3 times that. So we still have a long way to go, but we'll continue within the limited resources we have. We will make our public schools as good as private schools by God's grace. That's our goal. I believe that we have ample talent in this country. We have a lot of creative talent in Kaduna State. And we just need to leverage and encourage that talent, and the sky will be the limit. Nkechi's example is not isolated. We have them all over the place. Unfortunately, some of the girls that can be the next Nkechi are out there hawking bananas instead of going to school. And this is what we need to work on here in Kaduna State and northern Nigeria in general.
Kaduna State Governor Nasir El-Rufai. Meanwhile, the Executive Secretary of the Tertiary Education Trust Fund, Professor Abdullahi Baffa, has identified the dearth of indigenous high-quality reading and learning materials in Nigeria's educational systems as a major challenge. At a meeting with vice-chancellors of federal and state universities and provost of colleges of education in Abuja, Professor Baffa inaugurated 2 committees to address the challenge of poor research and lack of quality reading and learning materials. The committees, one of which is the National Research Fund Screening and Monitoring Committee, headed by Professor Olufemi Bamiro, has been mandated to resuscitate research activities in the nation's public tertiary institutions, while the Technical Advisory Group on Higher Education Book Development, headed by Professor Abdallah Adamu, is to promote the development of academic publishing within the higher education sector.
The vision of this intervention is to deliberately promote the evolution of a knowledge-based, globally competitive, research and development-driven socio-economic development process in Nigeria. This, we believe, can only be achieved through coordinated, properly focused and cutting-edge researches in all critical areas and anchored by the scholars in the higher education institutions in our country. That is why the mission of the intervention is to use the tools of research to catalyze the generation, acquisition, adaptation, assimilation, dissemination, and utilization of knowledge and skills to drive the socio-economic development of Nigeria in a sustainable and socially responsible manner. The National Research Fund was introduced to help research-state research activities in the nation's public tertiary institutions so as to support scholars meet up with the requirement of their calling, that is teaching, research, and community service.
Still to come on News Across Nigeria, we'll find out the latest group that has endorsed Governor Willie Obiano for a second term in office ahead of elections. Please stay with us.